This is Matt here. I just wanted to express my excitement for the presidential race of 2020. I know that seems strange because who gets excited about it? And it is strange for me to say. I mean, I've always tried to be a good citizen and vote and that sort of thing, but I've never felt this level of excitement before as I have felt for presidential candidate Andrew Yang. And he's got a lot of proposals, one of them very important, like the $1,000 a month freedom dividend. That sounds like a gimmick at first, but trust me, it's not just a gimmick, it's a legitimate solution to a problem that we're going to see over the next decade or so of severe automation in our economy. So we've already seen automation in factory settings and it's displaced thousands and thousands of workers. We're going to start seeing automation of truck drivers. We're going to start seeing automation of call centers. Retail work is getting sucked up more and more by Amazon. We're going to see a lot of jobs get displaced, and not just blue collar jobs, there's white collar jobs too that can easily be automated away. A lot of things related to the lawyer careers, a lot of things related to the medical side of things, and coding, even, computer related careers are possibly going to disappear as well. And maybe not disappear altogether, but certainly become more scarce as automation and AI continues to develop and get better. So there is a huge thing coming up on us that is going to displace millions of workers. And I think the freedom dividend is a plausible solution to that problem. And it also solves a lot of other problems like our welfare state. It gives money into the hands of caregivers, people that always do work, but it's unrecognized. So it recognizes the work that they do, like my wife Chelsea, and I think she does so much good work at home with the kids. I'm so grateful she's able to do that and to spend that time with them and to be a caregiver. And it's what she's chosen to do, and I support her in that. I appreciate her efforts and the work that she does. It is difficult. And this recognizes that type of work. And I appreciate that. Anyway, there's a lot to say about the freedom dividend. I do support it. I do think it's the best idea on the table right now to solve the problems of automation that are coming in the next decade. It's not far away. It's been said that they're 98% of the way to having self-driving trucks, which means, all of us know someone that's a trucker, right? For the most part. So that's a huge disruption in our economy. I don't want to focus necessarily on his policies. He does have a lot of good policies. He's got over 100. I don't necessarily agree with every single one, but I like how he's getting to his conclusions. I love that he's a numbers guy. He's digging into the numbers. He's citing recent studies. He's legitimately someone that's flexible in his thinking if something more reasonable presents itself. And I really think that that's a great quality in a leader. Someone that can give the right solution, even if it isn't necessarily popular with their particular party. And I think he's great in that sense. Now, just some, I guess, more superficial reasons that I like him. For one, he's hilarious. There's a lot of great, if you follow him on Twitter, you will laugh. He's just great, and he doesn't care about all the gimmicks of politics. I just love that. It just seems very genuine. I've got I guess I consider it's a self-proclaimed good BS meter for people, and I don't ever feel like he's BSing me. I don't ever feel like he's just saying something for the sake of saying something. Even when these large social organizations want him to support every item of their agenda in order for them to, I guess, endorse him to a certain degree, he doesn't necessarily just do that. He will say, well, I can support this and this and this, but this I can't support. For example, $15 minimum wage, he doesn't necessarily support. He agrees with the spirit of it, but it provides a cost to businesses, and it is not something that recognizes the work that caregivers do. It's just something that he doesn't necessarily support because he has a better solution. There's a lot of things that I could talk about in that sense, but I just love that he's genuine. I love that he's trying to find the best solution to the problems that are facing us right now. He's recognizing the problems that got Donald Trump elected. Donald Trump got elected because of the swing state votes, and there's a very strong correlation between jobs that got automated away and Donald Trump's message that says we need to make America great again. People were feeling that, and it's either that or Hillary that says, "Oh, things are great. America's already great." That doesn't resonate with those people because they're feeling the hurt of displacement. So there's so many reasons I just love him. I just find joy. Like, honestly, he is my number one source of entertainment right now. I will just get on. I'll watch a podcast with him on it. The Joe Rogan podcast is great. I was very impressed that he would go on the Ben Shapiro podcast. Ben Shapiro is obviously a conservative, but Andrew Yang's not afraid to go and sit down with a conservative. None of the other Democratic candidates would do such a thing, right? They'd never be seen with Ben Shapiro, but he can sit down and have a reasonable conversation, even with someone that doesn't necessarily see eye to eye with him. And I think that's such a positive thing. It is the one person that I've seen, aside from maybe John McCain, that is able to reasonably be bipartisan. And I really, really appreciate that. Anyway, there's a lot of good things about this guy. If you want to know more about him, I would highly recommend the Joe Rogan podcast. I think that's a good place to start, though there may be some language. The Ben Shapiro interview I thought was really positive. There's a good H3 podcast. There's a lot of information about him now. Following him on Twitter is a great opportunity to learn more about him and kind of see his personality, which I think is a lot of fun. Anyway, that is why I support Andrew Yang. I'm very excited about him. I know I didn't get into a lot of details because there's way too much to talk about, and I want to keep this as short as possible. Thanks for listening. I'm not interested in having like contentious conversations, but I'm always interested in a good conversation in person with somebody about what they think about politics and what I think about it, and where you genuinely listen to each other and are curious. And I love that. I love those types of conversations. So I look forward to having some of those in person with you if you would like.